number? Or his no? Okay, that's fine.
From creators who promoted meth and other drugs to people of no age, to influencers who were caught consuming child material and later sent to prison, the looksmaxxing community has become a magnet for some of the internet's most toxic personalities. But even among all of them, one person stands out for all the wrong reasons. Meet Jarion Davidson, a 20-year-old looksmaxxer who completely destroyed his own face in pursuit of becoming more attractive. His methods included repeatedly his face and even drinking raw chicken blood. But before we go down the Jarion rabbit hole, let's add some context. There isn't much information available about Jarion's childhood or his life before social media. However, photos dating back to 2022 show a fairly normal-looking teenager. After graduating high school, Jarion began posting content on TikTok and Instagram in 2025, focusing almost entirely on looksmaxxing and male self-improvement. And at first, his content was surprisingly normal. He gave basic looksmaxxing advice, talked about becoming more attractive, getting leaner, and achieving features like hollow cheeks.
So guys, the 4 fundamentals of walking in. Number 1, your diet. Your diet is actually everything.
Back then, Jarion looked relatively normal as well, but only a few months later, saying that he damaged his face and body would almost be an understatement. While there's nothing wrong with caring about your appearance or practicing self-care, Jarion gradually made looksmaxxing his entire identity. He became obsessed with trying every extreme trend and theory he encountered online, especially those coming from the more unhinged corners of the looksmaxxing community. One of those practices was something called bone smashing. Bone smashing is a dangerous looksmaxxing trend where a person repeatedly parts of their face, usually the jawline, cheekbones, brow ridge, or chin, with hard objects in the belief that the bones will grow larger and create a more attractive facial structure. And while it certainly changed Jarion's face, it didn't change it for the better. Not only did he appear noticeably worse than before, but the visible swelling and altered bone structure seemed to convince him that he was becoming more attractive simply because his jawline appeared more pronounced. As time went on, Jarion became increasingly detached from reality. He began posting transformation videos across social media, frequently referring to himself as the most handsome man in the world. He even described his looksmaxxing journey as craziest glow up in history, despite the fact that his pre-looksmaxxing photos looked significantly healthier, more natural, and by most people's standards far more attractive than the result. With this newfound delusion about his looks, Jarion doubled down and started posting even more videos. As a result, he gained more attention, and eventually his Instagram account grew to nearly 60,000 followers. But people were not following him because of his Greek god looks, as he liked to put it. Instead, they were fascinated by his delusion and his unsettling appearance, which people simply could not look away from. Nothing illustrates this better than his comment sections. Whenever he posts a video, his comments are filled with messages like these. Dude, stop what you are doing. You're ruining your face. Don't listen to all those idiots saying, yeah, go on. Seriously, you are doing something stupid to your face. You need to see a doctor. You literally destroyed your bones. No joke, it doesn't look good. As if all of that was not enough of a reality check to wake him up from this delusion, Jarion only doubled down even further. He dismissed everyone who disagreed with his belief that he was the most handsome guy in the world, calling them haters who were simply jealous of him. To call his content cringe would be a massive understatement. He was posting extremely bizarre videos, such as asking, "What would you do if you saw me in a grocery store?" And if that was not bizarre enough, he also uploads videos of himself simply staring into the camera without saying a single word, apparently to show off his Greek god face. After gaining this newfound infamy on social media for being one of the worst looksmaxxers, which is saying something considering how bizarre the entire looksmaxxing community can be, Jarion soon started selling courses. This marked an even more disturbing chapter of his online presence. To say that his courses are trash would be an understatement. What is even worse is their pricing. His courses, hosted on School under the title Ascend or Die Trying, include the following description. Most people think their face is just genetics. That is why they stay stuck. Soft jaw lines, no cheekbone definition, low confidence, trying random advice that never actually works. His bone growth guide, which is essentially him showing people how face with a hammer and destroyed it, costs $997. His eye area guide costs nearly $600. His coloring guide costs nearly $400. His Hollow Cheeks protocol costs $400. Then there are courses on body language, dark psychology, and female strategy, all bundled together for $1,200. Despite being extremely expensive, Jarion mainly teaches basic information that anyone could find for free on YouTube. Even worse, many of the techniques he promotes are widely considered dangerous and potentially harmful. One of the things he frequently teaches and obsesses over is DIY double jaw surgery. Despite its name, it is not an actual surgery. DIY double jaw surgery is a dangerous looksmaxxing trend in which people attempt to imitate the effects of professional jaw surgery using homemade methods such as aggressive thumb pulling, excessive force, makeshift devices, or other unproven techniques. Unlike real double jaw surgery, which is performed by surgeons under controlled medical conditions, these DIY methods have no scientific evidence showing they can safely reshape the jaw. Instead, they carry serious risks, including permanent bite problems, tooth damage or loss, chronic jaw pain, nerve injuries that cause numbness, temporomandibular joint disorder, facial deformities, and, in severe cases, fractures or infections. The potential for permanent injury far outweighs any unproven cosmetic benefit. Despite this, Jarion constantly encourages his audience to try it. Given that many of his followers are children and young teenagers, his advocacy for DIY double jaw surgery becomes even more dangerous and concerning. And if that was not bad enough, Jarion's advice becomes even more extreme. In his videos, he often claims to be a raw meat guy, saying that he eats raw meat because he believes it helps people become more attractive. But he takes it even further by literally drinking raw chicken blood on camera and encouraging his audience to do the same. Although this behavior is dangerous, at least most of these are something he has personally done himself. However, there is one thing he has neither demonstrated nor shown any expertise in, and that is how to attract women. Jarion sells a course teaching dating strategies for a whopping $1,200. But to say that he is bad with women would be a massive understatement. Jarion frequently refers to women as f***s. Inside his course forum, members also regularly use the same term when referring to women. How can I speak to regularly like they are human and be interesting and have a personality and not gesture in every convo I have with them? And the response to this question is even more embarrassing. This guy replies, keep gesturing because they don't care about what you have to say. They only care if you look good, other than that having a conversation is pointless. Jarion eventually went live while walking through a mall, interacting with women to show his followers how to approach them. The only problem was that the interactions were incredibly awkward and embarrassing. First of all, Jarion referred to the women he encountered as f***s.
No way, chat. No way, it's a no way.
Jarion also has a history of making offensive remarks and posting inflammatory content on social media. On multiple occasions, he shared posts that many people interpreted as promoting extremist imagery or rhetoric. One example was a post in which he wrote, "The sun will rise again," a phrase that, depending on the context, has been associated with neo-Nazi messaging. And whenever he approached a woman, instead of having a normal conversation, Jarion would immediately ask them to sleep with him. Unsurprisingly, all of them rejected him. Not only did none of them agree to give him their Instagram, but even when he attempted to shake their hands, they refused. Jarion would then quickly walk away, visibly embarrassed.
What was your name?
Wait.
Liza? I just want to see, like, what's your Instagram? You're cute. Do you give out your Instagram? No? You want my number? Or you just no? Okay, that's fine. Oh, you have a boyfriend? Yeah. Oh, okay. So, like, you wouldn't approve of this? He said no? Okay.
Despite this embarrassing moment, the live stream continued for nearly 2 hours until Jarion was eventually kicked out of the mall. According to the footage, mall staff intervened after his behavior became disruptive, and he continued approaching female workers. And if all of this was not disturbing enough already, a serious allegation would soon emerge that would change how many people view Jarion, turning him from someone known for bizarre online behavior into someone facing much more serious accusations. The story starts in January of 2026, when Jarion first started talking to a literal 14 years old on his Discord. Jarion said, "Are you free for a call?" To which she responded, "I will tell you later, but I have school tomorrow." Now, anyone with basic decency would immediately stop messaging this girl after she said she had school the next day, as it clearly indicated that she was likely still a student and potentially underage. However, instead of walking away, Jarion continued talking to her by saying, "Got it. No worries, we can talk another time when it works for you." Then this 14 years old would ask Jarion how old he was, to which he said, "Recently turned 18. What about you?" This was the first major lie. Jarion was not 18. At the time, he was 20 years old. After learning the girl's age, he claimed that he had recently turned 18, giving the impression that he was much closer to her age. Based on the timing of the conversation, it appears he did this so she would be less likely to be alarmed by the age difference. The girl then told him her age, to which Jarion replied, "You look much older, extra credits." Here's a cleaner version that keeps the same meaning and tone without changing the structure. Talking to an underage girl was already disturbing enough, but what made the situation even more disturbing was that after she told him her age, he responded by saying, "Extra credits." That remark made the interaction far creepier than it already was. And if that was not bad enough, after she asked him whether he minded that she was 14, he went on to say this, "Yeah, I don't care, but we can't do anything until you turn 15. Seeing how desperate he was to hook up with any woman, the girl eventually stopped responding, even after he repeatedly texted and called her. When she finally replied with, "Are you okay?" he proceeded to dump his emotions onto her and appeared to try to guilt trip her by implying that he might himself. Yeah, I'm just a little stressed today. I'm sort of losing hope in everything. It would be better if I didn't exist. And if this wasn't bad enough already, Jarion would continue texting to this girl. I am not a baker, but I will stay up with you to make cream pie. Send voice messages, you sound so cute and adorable. Immediately after these text messages were released, some people questioned their authenticity, given how easy it is nowadays to fake screenshots. Unfortunately for Jarion, those doubts did not last long. He later confirmed that the messages were real in his Discord, with one of his moderators even uploading screen recordings of the conversations. But instead of admitting any wrongdoing, Jarion tried to downplay the situation by bringing up another notorious looksmaxxer, Hello, who had been caught watching CP. Hello's situation was way worse. He watched CP. All I did was text, plus I didn't even believe she was fully real. I'm gonna leave it. I got nothing to hide. He then proceeded to outright lie by claiming that he blocked her after learning her age. He did not. According to the messages, after she told him she was 14 years old, he continued sending her explicit messages and repeatedly called her instead of ending the conversation. Despite his desperate attempts to downplay his actions and act unbothered, Jarion eventually became concerned about the consequences once people started contacting the police and reporting him. However, rather than expressing remorse, he appeared more concerned about his cortisol levels. He even said he was going to use the increase in his cortisol as motivation to grind even harder. I thought 15 was the statutory legal age, to be honest. That is why I blocked her instantly after, so I can't really get arrested for it. We only texted for a week. I got a huge cortisol spike, but honestly, it is motivation to keep grinding for real. As disturbing as it is, this was not the only time Jarion was caught trying to communicate with a minor in an inappropriate way. During one of his live streams, where he was trying to convince women to give him their phone numbers, he came across a girl who said she had just turned 16. He then lied about his own age, claiming that he had recently turned 18.
How old are you?
Dude, you're making her keep going, bro.
Going, babe.
When you turn 17.
She just like a little bit died.
Until next year. You wanna have my Instagram? No? Okay. Okay, nice seeing you. Where's the exit?
The consequences of his actions would soon catch up to him as people began making documentaries about him. One of them even went viral, gaining more than 700,000 views on YouTube. The attention eventually led to him losing all of his social media accounts, including his Instagram page, which had nearly 60,000 followers. And while all of this was nobody's fault but Jarion's, he still chose to portray himself as the victim by creating a GoFundMe campaign. His GoFundMe description reads, "An innocent man, Jarion Davidson, needs bail paid. He deserves to be let out as many false accusations and allegations have come against him, breaking him down and hurting his mental health. He has been falsely convicted by his haters who were able to bother the cops enough to bully them into getting him." Despite his desperate attempt, nobody donated any money to his GoFundMe. However, that did not stop him from begging online. Instead, he started streaming on Kick, where he began directly asking his viewers for money. Despite once having hundreds of thousands of followers across social media before the allegations that he had been texting a minor, Jarion now has barely 600 followers on TikTok and around 300 subscribers on YouTube. Most of his videos struggle to reach more than a few hundred views, and the majority of the audience that remains appears to be there to mock his behavior and apparent delusions rather than support him.